A memory from working on Tomb Raider. Well, I have so many, but I suppose one that sticks out is one of the earlier memories. I was about 17 or 18 when I was introduced to Tomb Raider, to Lara Croft, which I think was about 1996 or 7, or I'm probably getting that wrong, but it was a long time ago. And I hadn't played a computer game. I think the one prior to that was probably Atari. And so my brother and all his friends and I think the rest of the population of the planet were all playing Tomb Raider, and I was introduced to it because my brother said, you have to watch this game. This girl, she's just like you. We had a similar background, we had a similar sort of, I suppose, attitude, a similar way of, I don't know, navigating life, even though I was young. And I felt this instant kismet connection to this girl and felt this overwhelming compulsion to somehow be connected to her on a deeper level, in whichever way I could. It was something that was deeply profound. And I think it was probably for lack of a role model. I think it was for lack of a big sister. I think it was for lack of something that was missing in my life, and also something maybe that I needed to don as a sort of a suit of armor for the juncture I was at in my life. So I called up my agent. I said, I know this is weird, but there's this computer game with this amazing character. Can you watch out in case they start casting for anything like a movie or whatever? I didn't know that 5 years later they were going to make a movie. However, a week later she called me up and said they are actually holding auditions for a girl to sing an album with Dave Stewart from Eurythmics. So I went along to the audition. And at that particular point, to me, Lara was the poncho-wearing version with the sort of shorts and the cargo pants, but she was the poncho version. That's who Lara always has been in my head. So I went in with a poncho and with 2 water pistols. I think they were actually green. And I believe that I held the room to ransom, saying that if they didn't give me the part, that I would come back and haunt them from the other side. So they gave me the part. And a few weeks later, we were in fittings, which were not really fittings. There was some, I even think it might have been a man, sort of threw some shorts and a Topshop t-shirt at me and said, here's your outfit. At that point, I was like, no. And I sort of realized that I was going to have to give birth to the non-pixelated version in a whole other way. And so I brought in my wonderful friend and designer, Antonia Vaughan, and we set about creating the latex costumes. We designed that, got in the people to do that. And I think that costume was worn for quite a while afterwards. But from that point, I think we realized that that was giving birth to Lara in the blood and flesh form was a whole other task, which has been something that I've really cherished since. A funny story. So I wrote and recorded the album for Lara on Paul Allen's yacht, going up the Amazon for a couple of weeks with Dave Stewart from Eurythmics. Obviously, not a normal affair at all, but while on the boat with the recording studio, Dave would sort of leave me in a corner and I'd go and sort of get into Lara's head and write the lyrics in my little 19-year-old brain and try to sort of get into her pixelated mind and go very deep into sort of, I suppose, the cracks of what I thought she was going through as a pixelated character. And it was a very cathartic experience. And all of a sudden, Dave out of the blue says to me, like, who would you like to play on your album, in his accent, who would you like to play on your album, Petal? And I knew a little bit about music, and I love funk. And so I sort of threw out there rather whimsically, Bootsy Collins, P-Funk. And he's like, all right then. And so later on that night after dinner, on the boat that is, which is sort of bobbing around the Amazon with pink dolphins and people kayaking up beside you with sort of feathered headdresses on. And I mean, it was just surreal, the whole thing. Anyway, he hands me over the satellite phone and says, here, Petal, I've got someone to talk to you. And lo and behold, it was Bootsy Collins, as you do. So that was a surreal one. How has Lara inspired me? I think that for me, what I've always taken from Lara and I suppose what she's given me and what she's always reminded me of is I've continued to play many other strong women since. There seems to be a common denominator, and that is that all, I'd say, strong women pretty much at their core essence, and this is something that is overlooked and I think that is misunderstood, is that the core essence of a strong woman is actually a little girl who's trying to protect herself from not being looked after. And I suppose the ability and the understanding that one must honour that and not abandon it has always been something that I've held true to, or tried to hold true to. So no matter what, how men objectify you, whatever people need for their own needs, their own egos, however women want to compete with you or put you in a box or put you down or any of those things, that the most important thing is that you don't abandon yourself and stay true to the essence of who you are, to not abandon the little girl. So I think that is what I've always seen in Lara and what I've always connected to in me and other women I've met, which is that behind and underneath a strong woman is actually the core of quite a fragile little girl, and sometimes that gets overlooked. And I would just like to say at this particular juncture, thank you so very much to all the fans who have stood by Lara, and oddly, I sort of feel that there's something we've been through together on this journey, on that journey, and as it continues. And you've always been very kind to me and very supportive. And thank you so much from me, from Lara, and happy 25th. And in the words of the Highlander, there can be only one.